Hello everybody and welcome to this, what I'm going to basically throw together as a quick guide on how to win wars without raising troops, without killing your men, without going to the difficult areas of making your vassals hate you because you're a warmongering, evil, hungry tyrant. Now, because obviously we all know, any of you that play CK3 for instance, apart from a few select cultures and maybe a few select religions, most of the time if you go to war you will get a negative modifier. Also, people might be bigger than you. You might not be able to win the war. Also, it means killing your troops. It means raising your troops, which costs you a lot of gold. As you can see here, for instance, in my current playthrough, I'm on minus 63 gold a month. That's because all of my troops are currently raised. I say that. There they all are, slowly all being raised. I'll zoom back out so we can't even see them. They're not important right now. But there you go. So, for instance, war is expensive. War is costly in many ways. So if we can win a war without ever having to raise a sword, then why not do it? Of course, we will have to raise a dagger. Or actually, we'll have to pay someone else to raise a dagger. But, hey, it's easier than us raising a whole bunch of swords. So, the way we do that, ladies and gentlemen, is there is the process in Crusader Kings 3 to kidnap people. Now, there has been a lot of talk, I believe, over the years as the game has been released, that, for instance, kidnapping has been nerfed, you can never use it. There are some key ways, should we say around this, there are some key ways to give you a fighting chance. Now, first off, the prerequisites. To even be allowed to do kidnapping, you need to invest some time in some intrigue. Whether you're an intrigue character or not. This character, for instance, I think she's actually a martial character. But you can obviously invest in any of the lifestyles you so choose, and so you need to invest in the intrigue lifestyle, more to point in the schema tree. As you can see, I've already done that for this character. I have been doing many kidnappings. So the first thing, and the extreme prerequisite that you do need, is the kidnapper trait. This will allow you to do the abduct scheme, which is a hostile scheme against other people that becomes enabled, as you can see, when you become a kidnapper. Now, the other things you may wish to get whilst you're in the area is a job done right, which allows you to do hostile schemes sex chance plus 25%, which is quite big. Kidnapping schemes for both secrecy and success chance both top out at 85%, so a plus 25% is quite good. Another one you might want to get is twice schemed. This just allows you to do two hostile schemes at the same time, which for this is quite useful, which I will show you about in a minute. And another one, if you're going to go and get the whole tree, you may as well pop one in schema. Being a schema gets you a whole plus 5 intrigue, and obviously the more intrigue you have, the better you are at hostile schemes. And as you can see, it also gives you an extra, a bit added on top of an extra hostile scheme power of plus 25%. That is a plus 50% scheme power once it has stacked up. So those are the prerequisites and a few other things you can grab whilst you're there. If you're doing an intrigue character, should we say, for the distance. Now, I have mixed and matched with this character. As you saw when we jumped in, I was in diplomacy. But if you are doing an intrigue character for the distance, you have gotten a nice young ruler. You've been able to mold them as you see fit. Two other perks you might want to pick up whilst you're here in the Torturer tree are Dark Insights and Divine Retribution. What this allows you to do is Dark Insights. Whenever you torture someone, there's a 50% chance to either gain an intrigue or a prowess. Now, the problem with this is if you torture someone, you will lose piety. Divine Retribution, you don't lose piety or clergy opinion when you torture someone, so it cancels out this negative effect for you. Now, obviously, this could take time, depending on how many prisoners you have, and it's not guaranteed. It's only a 50% chance, and it also could go into prowess. But the point is, you could get a nice plus 5 to your intrigue. As I said, intrigue, the more, the better if you're trying to push these kind of tactics. So, those are the prerequisites. And then how you use them. Now, obviously, a lot of the time, kidnapping a ruler is difficult. And even worse, ladies and gentlemen, as an FYI, kidnapping a ruler that you are at war with, damn near impossible. I believe this is what some of the complaints have been about how kidnapping has been nerfed. However, there are very easy ways around this. You just circumnavigate the road. You don't try and go through the wall, you simply walk around it. So, for instance, let's have a look at this one, Hungary. I want to claim Hungary. As you can see, it's on the edge of my current empire. It's a good next place to, knock down the door and say, hey, I think this land's mine. So, one of the first things you'll do is, obviously, you might need a claimant. Now, my problem is I'm playing as a Hellenic faith. Everybody hates me. Everybody's Muslim or Christian in my surrounding area. They all hate me. No one's going to come to my court. No one's going to want to marry. No one wants to be my friend. I'm a pariah. So one of the first things I need to do is get a claimant. Now, as I said, no one's going to come to my court. However, no one's going to come to my court by choice. So, I'm going to scroll down here. I did have a quick look at this earlier, and basically down here, towards the bottom, there is a 19-year-old Princess Helene of Bavaria who has an unpressed claim to the Grand Principality of Hungary. Now, I'm going to basically grab this woman because I am playing an Amazon Empire. It is a near enough an all-female empire. So that's why I've gone for a woman as opposed to a man, because I can push women's claims better than men's. However, she is zealous, so that will kind of cause me a few problems, but we'll see what we can do. And she is nice and young, so she won't go and die immediately. So, I need her in my kingdom. I'm going to go and hit that abduct scheme. Now, as you can see, 76 chance of success and 85% chance of secrecy. As I mentioned, 85 is the maximum on an abduction scheme. It's not 95 like a murder. 85% is the maximum for these two things on an abduction scheme. So, I'm going to go and hit start that scheme. I'm now going to get a claimant in my court for the Hungarian Empire. But this is not how you win a war. This is just something I'm going to need to do as a prerequisite. What I do need to do, however, is go back and select the Kingdom of Hungary. This is the ruler. As I said, kidnapping rulers is difficult. And plus, once you've kidnapped a ruler, you can't declare war. You cannot in any way attempt to use that imprisoned emperor, empress, king, queen to push your claims, to push basically what you want. So what you're going to have to go and do is kidnap their heir. So I'm going to go and select the heir. I'm going to right click on him and I am going to abduct. Now, we'll abandon the scheme, abduct the Gerda Regina. Now, let me just double check. Good. I will basically speak to this in a minute, but as you can see, which I will highlight, you cannot abandon schemes which are finished or frozen. I will talk about that very briefly. You will see some lovely magic of screenplay, and we'll come back to this screen, and I will talk about that in a second. But I'm going to start this scheme which will abandon that one. That's not a problem, trust me. And as you saw, that had an 85% chance on both parts. Now, as you can see, this one is 76 and 85. I am going to see who we can invite. We have a steward here. Let's bribe them. I also have lots of money, which also helps with everything you do in Crusader Kings 3, don't get me wrong. But you don't necessarily need money to be able to do these kind of things. As you can also see, it's going to give me some stress because I'm paranoid. My current character doesn't have very good traits. For instance, if you're a just character, going down the intrigue thing, probably not going to be good for your mental health. But there are ways around it if you can obviously reduce the stress as you gain the stress. But let's invite them to the scheme. And they will then be invited to the scheme. So obviously, once I've kidnapped the claimant, swayed them to my side, and then kidnapped the heir, what that will allow me to do, it means basically even if I just then decide, oh, actually, things are going a bit bad, I'm going to have to go and declare this war to basically push this claim, I will start that war with a 50% war score modifier. Now, for all of you that have played this game so far, 50%, obviously, you have to get to 100. I mean, 50% is half of it. For any of you that it's basically can do maths, it's pretty obvious. But the point I'm going to make is, when you're in an offensive war, you can only get a 50% war score from battles. So, if you simply also want to do this at more of a lightning pace, because it's things like your vassal opinion modifiers that you're trying to avoid, having a 50% start is absolutely fantastic, because you can run in, crush their armies, get that 50% war score modifier from battles, boom, war's over. You do not have to spend your time sieging and in a long drawn out war. So, as I said, first thing you have to do is get a claimant on your side. There are obviously many ways you can do this. I've had to do it this way because, as I said, I'm of different faith. And then kidnap the heir. You don't kidnap the ruler. You kidnap the heir. Because you have a much higher chance. As you saw, I have a maximum chance of kidnapping the primary heir. And I can even invite agents, which obviously I have no need to do. I have no need to pay money or gain stress for. because it's already on a maximum of 85%. Now, if I just show you as an example, if I attempt to abduct the queen, 13 and 33. That is the difference, ladies and gentlemen. Never go for the ruler. Go for the heir. And then once that all pushes through, we will go on to the next stage, which, after some magic and trickery, we're there. So as I went and said, the first thing you want to do is kidnap the heir. Once that has gone and completed and you have successfully kidnapped the heir of the realm you are trying to conquer, the next thing you want to do is murder the realm leader, the realm ruler. So you go ahead and you select and start this scheme, and then of course you have to wait for that to move along, doing everything you need to do to give it the highest percentage success chance you can. Now, once you get to this scheme kicking off, the next thing you want to do before you click on the proceed with scheme, as in go ahead and attempt to complete the murder scheme, what you want to do first is select the ruler and declare war. Once you have declared war against that ruler for that realm, you can then go ahead and attempt to complete your murder scheme. Now, of course, hopefully you are successful in this murder scheme. And so what this will go and do is the ruler of the land who you've just declared war against has just gone and died. So through the rules of succession, his heir becomes the ruler. Now, by the rules of war, if you capture the leader of the realm that you are at war against, you get an automatic 100% war score in your favor. So, straight from the get-go, you've captured the heir, killed the current leader, the heir becomes the leader, and you have him in your prison. So this now means that you have a 100% war score against the realm you are currently declaring war against. So, without having to do any hard lifting, you have already gone and won the war. Now, of course, some of you will have questions to do with, well, what happens if I fail my murder scheme and I've just gone and declared war? Not to worry at all. Even if you fail your murder attempt and you end up actually having to fight the war, you will start with a plus 50% war score, which will give you a huge bonus right out of the gates. And plus, there is nothing to stop you from trying to murder the ruler of the realm all over again. It does not get nerfed that badly when you are at war with somebody. Compared to if you attempt to kidnap and fail and end up at war, you will not be kidnapping that realm ruler at war. If you manage to do that, I would be very, very impressed. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is how you win a war without ever having to raise any troops and avoiding all of the negative modifiers and gold cost and troop count deaths from any normal war in Crusader Kings 3. So I hope you've all enjoyed the video, I hope you've all learned something, but the most important thing, wherever you are, have a great day, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you in the next video, folks. We'll catch you then.